Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Delivered Social podcast. I am very happy to announce we have got Matt Lindsay here, the General Manager and Director of Growing Revolution. Matt, welcome to the Delivered Social podcast.
Hi, Terence. How you doing? You all good?
Very well, thank you. I am really looking forward to finding out more about you and more about Growing Revolution, because I think you have quite a really interesting career, up to date. So I want to start right at the beginning.
Yes.
How did you get into this industry?
It's a good question actually. And on paper, it does look a bit strange and a bit all over the place. But basically, what happened was I actually have an arts background. So I did art as a sort of a degree, art and design. I got very interested in sort of the whole sort of public art, sort of public realm, artists and way of doing things. My whole sort of thesis and whole everything I was working towards was all about public art and sort of sculpture, public sculpture and things like that. And not long after, I was working at Cass Sculpture Foundation, which was a charitable organisation up at the Goodwood Estate. So I went to Chichester University, and local to those guys was Cass, and I did a sort of an internship there. And basically in that internship, we basically were commissioning young and upcoming, as well as sort of more established British artists and sort of international artists to work on big projects up and down the country and overseas as well. And it was basically, I don't know if anyone knows the Cass Sculpture Foundation, but it was run by a guy called Wilfred Cass, who was in his sort of, I think, 90s at the time.
Wow.
And he was a very eccentric guy, but amazing and a very interesting guy. And he used to sort of commission these large-scale sculptures in the grounds of Goodwood, and it was amazing. It really was. And as part of that internship, I then sort of briefly was working on the sort of project up at the Battersea Power Station. So that's had a big regeneration, both from a landscaping and from a.
That looks amazing.
And it looks incredible, doesn't it? Yeah, it looks a lot better now, I think. And as part of that, I got interested in the sort of public realm, public art type. Way of working, way of doing things. So after that, I then actually got a job, funny enough, in publishing. I wasn't there for that many months, but during that time, I was working with authors on scientific sort of research. Working with authors on scientific sort of research projects, and as part of that, we were basically looking at things like why plants are good for you, sort of air quality. There's all these sort of not scientific research-based projects that I was sort of working on, and that sort of sparked a bit of an interest.
Was that interest in plants there beforehand?
I think so. Yeah, sort of my family are quite sort of green-fingered as well. Sort of, I've not been massively into it, but before, and then as soon as sort of the next challenge came on, which is the biotecture challenge, it really hit a new level then, which is great, and it's continued to do so throughout, which has been really nice. So going back to the biotecture start, I sort of joined as a sort of an operations assistant or operations coordinator, and I was looking at some of the irrigation setups for some of the larger sort of commercial level projects, and when I say projects, I'm talking about sort of large living wall installations. So, the likes of Edgware Road Tube Station, and there's plenty of others, shopping centres, and also projects overseas, which has been great. So that was where it all started, and then not long after that as well, I sort of worked my way through the company into different roles, into projects and into product roles. And then back in 2019, Biotecture made the decision to invest in a new tool, and that tool was all about a new product, which is called Plantbox, and sort of the rest is history, really. That's where, not long after, we then set up Growing Revolution as a sort of a side business from that, and away we go. From there, COVID then hit in 2020. Which was interesting for us.
What sort of impact did that have on Growing Revolution?
Well, we thought, spent all this time, all this resources and everything else in setting up this new business and in this new product as well, and then COVID hit, and we thought, oh no, what a rubbish time to launch. And then actually, funny enough, it turned out to be very very good for us from at least from an interest and from a sales perspective, because lots of people were at home. And they had their own projects that they were working on, and they're maybe working from their kitchen table or something, looking out in their garden, saying, "Oh, I wish I could do something with that," or looking at a blank wall inside their home and going, "Do you know what? That would be a great way to sort of green that up." And it's gone from there, really.
It's interesting you bring up COVID, because I have so many friends during that period where they're on furlough, getting paid for doing nothing.
Yeah.
They were then looking around the house from working from home, watching Netflix mainly, but they'll be looking at space going, "Oh, you know what? We need to do up the kitchen. We need to do up the bathroom." Or suddenly summer came along. It's like, "Oh, we need to do up the whole garden."
Absolutely.
So do you think COVID was not a good thing, but in a way it helped to launch?
It did, yeah. And I always talk about this period as being this sort of absolutely horrific time for most, and we're still seeing signs of recovery from that. But from a product launch perspective, I think it did actually give us a boost. You talk about the furlough and everything else. People at home, were, like you say, looking around, going, "Do you know what? I'd love to green up that space."
And they had the time to do it as well.
And they had the time to do it, exactly. Yeah. So and it really gave us like you say, a boost from there. So it's been
But that's now all gone. Talk to me
about
about Plant Box. Why is it such an amazing product? Because everywhere I look online, it is everywhere.
Yeah.
So why is it everywhere? What's the big fascination about Plant Box?
Well, in our view, and I was going to say our biased view, but I think even taking a step back, it is one of the best products on the market.
It looks incredible wherever it is.
It is, and I'd say it's one of the best living wool products on the market, especially for the sort of the domestic, residential, even sort of smaller commercial market as well. And the reason why it's so brilliant is because it's like nothing other on the market. It's a stackable and modular system. It's all made from 100% recycled materials as well, all made in the UK. It's got a built-in reservoir for each trough, which holds 1.8 litres of water, which then helps plants thrive for longer. And yet, from a maintenance perspective, people want ease and to not be confused by it. And historically, when you talk to people about living walls and everything else, their eyes glaze over. And you talk to them about irrigation kits, and they go, "What? I need a what?" Whereas this, you just top up from the top, put water in the top, water flows down into the reservoir, plants absorb what they need, and then thrive for longer. So it's a brilliant system. We talk about being a cleverly simple system, and that's exactly what it is.
So you don't need to be an expert in gardening, do you?
Absolutely not. No. So you basically don't have to be an expert in horticultural gardening or construction or even flat pack furniture. It's very easy to assemble, very easy to install as well.
And I think the instructions that you guys give are so clear, and also you have like YouTube videos you can scan onto and watch. So
exactly,
it's almost like an IKEA shop. Here it is, build it,
away it goes. Yeah, exactly. And we still think there's a bit of work to be done on making those even clearer. But I think even looking at things like Trustpilot reviews and some of our sort of consumer feedback, a lot of it does sort of talk about the ease of installation, the ease of putting together, the ease of the instructions as well. It's like nothing other on the market, and I just think it can be so versatile. It's so versatile as a product that you can sort of assemble and install it anywhere you want, really. And it just sort of just swap out the plant. So for example, in this office, you certainly have one here.
Yeah.
And for people at home, you can certainly do it there. There's a couple of, like I said, like shopping centres and that sort of thing, and public realm projects, which it's also used in. So it's so adaptable, versatile, and it's also built to last as well from premium materials in the UK here. So yeah, it's very good.
How important was it when you were launching the product that everything had to be sourced in the UK, and sustainability? How important was that?
It was sort of the thing that that mattered most, I think, at the start. We wanted to be a business that was at the forefront of one, providing a very simple to install, easy to assemble living wall system. That's great. That's one thing. But it's the sustainability side of it around it that was sort of really key and critical to to us launching it, basically, we really wanted to have a UK supply chain. It was it's essential to have it all sort of manufactured in the UK as well. I think without that, I just don't know if it would have had as much of a role to play. I don't think, and in times where sustainability is talked about so much, we take a more sort of, I would say, a holistic view. We're not just sort of talking about sort of carbon capture or something like that. We're talking about biodiversity. We're talking about like I say, responsible supply chains and everything else. So there's more to it that meets the eye, and we're certainly on a road to becoming as sustainable as we can, and hopefully more as we grow. So yeah, I could go on about that, but I'm just trying to.
No, it's cool. I mean, what I love about you guys is because, like you said, sustainability, it is in every organisation, but a lot of the times it is lip service.
Yes,
and it is so many bits you can do. However, when you do think of sustainability, you think green.
Yeah.
You think green, you think of Growing Revolution, you think of colours, you think of plants, you think of that sort of thing.
That's right. Yeah.
So I think for you guys to be able to say, look, this is what we're trying to do, and this is the aim. What would you say in the next 5 years? What more can Growing Revolution? Is there anything more you guys can do?
Absolutely, yeah, without a doubt. We talk about it and as being this essential, critical thing that we need, that is sort of integral to all of our sort of business operations, right through from, like you say, our operations, right through to supply chain, right through to manufacturing, procurement, even sort of sales and how we sort of go out there and talk to people. It's sort of within everything. However, there's way more that we can do. I think the first thing that we're going to start to look at is sort of become B Corp accredited, which I think just seems to be the standard for businesses now. I think it's great that that's out there, and I think that's fantastic. I just think that needs to be a sort of a bar to hit, and then from there that you can elevate yourself, and keep going. But yeah, for a business of our size, I think we're doing okay. But yeah, like you said, there's so much more we can do, and I just think we're at the forefront of that sort of whole bringing nature closer, sort of nature positive sustainability sort of shift, and we want to be there. We want to be the ones that talk about sort of living walls and the benefits and leading the way, exactly. So yeah, we're going to continue to do that, I think.
When you visit offices or garden centres or anything, and you see other installations, how hard is it for you to walk past them and not have a little critique or think about, what, they could have done this or they could have done that? Do you have a little bit of a?
I do, and yeah, it's.
What's your pet hates then if you see something?
Pet hates it's an interesting one. I mean, I think right plant for the right space is really key, and it's something that we're trying to sort of. I think educate is the wrong word, but talk to people about and sort of ensure that is always the case. That you've got the right planting for the right space. There's been a couple of examples, and I won't say which, but there's been a couple of things that I've seen that I always want to sort of have a bit of a tweak, or would replace certain species out or anything else. So it's. And also being a product-based business, we I'd say we lose some of that control as soon as it sort of leaves us, and that's actually that's one of the positives I'd like to talk about the business about is just, when a customer receives our plant box troughs in the post, it's down to them what to plant, and like I said about the versatility and the adaptability, I don't just mean from a space and a size and installation perspective. I also mean from a planting perspective as well. If you've got a sunny south-facing wall, if you want to put herbs or edibles in there, or you want to put Mediterranean species in there, you can. Like if you've got a shady north-facing wall, you can put your ferns and your hostas and your grasses and everything else in there, which again look equally as stunning. So yeah, I want to say there's no right and wrong. There is to some degree, obviously, with things like aspect and temperature and environment, but other than that, it's been really, inspiring, I suppose is the word, to see that other customers, what they've been doing with their walls.
Yeah.
And we like to use a lot of the sort of customer photography as well. So we get loads of photos in from customers all the time saying, "Hey, Growing Revolution, I've got this wall. I've received it. It's brilliant. I love the plant box. I've got these plants, again, either through us or through a local garden centre or something, and I love it. And here's a photo of it.
Yeah.
And for someone to do that, and in a world where it's so fast paced and it's such a sort of a sort of a
I think it's just great to see your creations come in. But obviously, when you sell a product, you don't know how they're going to set it up. You don't know where they're going to set it up.
That's right.
To get that and say, wow, but the ones I really love is when they put lights in it and they take the picture at night. They look really cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
But every picture's different as well. They're not. None of them look the same.
No,
which is amazing.
And I think people respect that and respond to that really well, because I think, in terms of the whole thing around, sort of putting plant boxes inside or outside, or putting growing herbs and edibles. I mean, it's a phrase I really liked. Is someone said, "Oh, I've got myself a vertical allotment now in my garden." I thought, what, at a time when you talk about cost of living crisis, everything else, and you're talking about food produce and the whole sort of thing around where does your food come from, and a bit more around that. It's been really really good to see, like you say, different people take different photos as well, so it mixes up, and people look at those and go, I want that for my house, or I've got a wall that looks like that.
And it's real. It's not just a stock image. It's somebody's house. It's somebody's back garden. It's somebody's office.
Yeah, and we do not pay them to take the photos either,
which is amazing.
Which is good. So it's just it's been great, and it's something we didn't really expect to happen either. We expected a few photos from nice people, but the level of responses that we've had it's been incredible. It's been amazing.
How many photos do you get which you're like, we're not sharing that?
Whew, that's a good way. I mean, I talk about it, and and there's been loads and loads and loads of great ones. Don't get me wrong, but there's been a couple where I don't know, maybe the finger's been over the camera, or I don't know, it's been taken on a dark wet day and the shadows are all, and I think, oh, okay, or they put something in there that I necessarily don't think is going to work very well. And sure enough, it doesn't. A bit later on down the line, and but they're really happy with it, and that's the thing. And we receive all these photos. It's not because something's wrong or anything like that. It's almost because they want to share it,
show it off.
And who are we to say why have you done that? We should do something else. So there's
one of the things I was looking at your reviews was a lot of people were saying they were asking for bits of advice. They seem to come in quite a lot. So when somebody buys a plant box, what sort of questions are they asking?
Again, that varies. It's a good question, because it does vary quite a lot, and there's a lot of people that do talk to us about sort of everything from how to assemble, and we obviously direct them to the videos or the instruction pack or anything like that, or we just sort of talk them through on the phone, right through to installations of what fixings to use, and everything else. And we've done all the necessary tests, things like pull-out tests and screws and fixings and all that sort of stuff, full structural assessments, all that sort of stuff. And we can sort of either send them that document, or we can sort of talk them through over the phone. Plants is the other one. Is the big one, I think.
Is this advice on what to plant, or?
I think what to plant where, that's sort of the big one. So it's something we're going to be sort of focusing on. One thing we're getting really quite a lot of at the moment, it's quite a funny one really, is we've made a few tweaks and changes to the plant box over time, as naturally, as things progress, and as feedback comes back as well, and we say, oh yes, we could probably improve on that. One of the things that happened was there was a central divider clip that sort of slotted in and out of the trough, just to keep the sort of the plant box sort of aligned. Occasionally, when plants sort of grew out and the roots got slightly bigger, the trough would come out and the middle divider becomes almost redundant. So what we decided to do is come up with a new clip, and we've amended our instructions, and I think we've put it on our social media platforms and that sort of thing. But we haven't updated the YouTube video yet. It's something we're just about to get around to do. But it almost seems like all of our inquiries and questions at the moment
are about that
specific piece, and they say, I've got the wrong bit, and we go, oh, okay, well, sorry to hear that. What can we do to help you? And they say, I'm actually, I've got this long piece. I have no idea what that is, but I've got this. I'm missing a divider, and it's just we find it quite funny, because then we sort of explain the situation and everything else, and then there's almost a bit of a silence on the phone, and it goes, right, Okay. And then a couple of minutes later, it's like, that's a brilliant invention. What amazing thing. That's so much better as an improvement. So yeah, it's one of those things we need to work on. And it also says how important feedback is.
Do those questions that you get, do they help because you started off as an operative and then obviously building yourself up? Do you feel like because you've been so hands-on and had to do it, you've got those answers?
Yes and no. There's also something to be said about being too close as well. If I'm in it all the time, I'm sort of looking at the product. I'm working with architects and landscapers and designers and planners and all these kind of guys, consumers, retailers. I could go on about the product and about how how the benefits will benefit them. And one of the things that we often say is that what feedback do you have for us? Because for me, it's quite hard to take a sort of a step back and sort of say, oh, we could do this instead. Or sometimes it's glaringly obvious, or it just comes to you. But sometimes it is as a result of feedback. So,
okay, I want to talk about how you're recognised as Pro Landscapers 30 Under 30, and also UK Green Building Council's Future Leaders Programme in 2020. Amazing accolades.
Yes.
What did that change in terms of your mindset towards leadership and sustainability in terms of your own job role? What did that do?
I look back on it now and say, what an amazing sort of thing to have done. And I look back on it. At the time, I was sort of thinking, oh yeah, this is great, but my head is very much down, focusing on work and everything else. But my colleague Richard sort of encouraged me to do it as well and supported me all the way through that. And I'm so glad he did, because actually by doing that course and by being as part of this sort of future leaders cohort for the UK GBC, it gave me, I feel, so much more confidence, and it gave me so much more sort of scope to talk about what I do and become just a bit more sort of sure of
confidence.
Confidence, and just felt a little bit more just ready to hold these sort of level of conversations, and from a leadership perspective as well, that confidence goes a long way. And as soon as you start talking about your product and the sort of I feel like the passion is already sort of already there. Couple that with a bit of confidence and everything else, and you're learning from, and you're hearing from other leaders in the same sort of sector, and you're hearing these guys' stories, and it's just amazing. I think it was the sustainability officer for IKEA, for example, and spending the afternoon with her, it was just fantastic. It was just so amazing to hear sort of her career trajectory and seeing where she's come from and where she gets her inspiration from as well. And we often say as well, you sort of, it's very hard to sort of keep that sort of banging the drum all the time, especially when there's so many challenges around you as well, especially around sustainability and that sort of whole that whole sort of conversation. But by doing that, it enabled me to sort of get really in there, get stuck in there, and I think it transformed the way I sort of view things and approach things, and sort of as a person as well, I think helped me sort of come out of my shell possibly a little bit more. So so that's been fantastic.
Amazing. Okay, so you talked about you're in the deep of it all the time. How do you one, focus on your role as a director, but also leading in terms of the sales and marketing side of things?
Another good question. It's it's a challenge, and sometimes you've got to step away from sort of the day to day, just to sort of say, what can I do better, or what can I try and influence to improve what we do. And it's a busy role, as you can imagine, and it's no 2 days are the same, as cliche as it sounds. For example, I was up at a garden centre last week, and the day before that I was meeting with one of our landscape partners, and it's totally different conversations, it's totally different markets, and then you come back and then you go, oh, I've actually had an inquiry from this person, you've got to respond to that, and then I've got another colleague asking something else, and it's great. You're sort of you're really at the sharp end of things, and by being there, I think is a good place to be. I feel like I'm very hands on as a manager and as hopefully as a leader as well. And I like to be involved in things. Not too much, obviously, not too much, but just enough to to feel like
Yeah.
we've got the control, we know where we're going, and we know what we're doing. So it's been it's been a great change, and it's been since the start of the year really, since that role's come in. So it's been a great year.
No, amazing. We're talking about sort of projects earlier. Is there any projects which come to your mind which you think, I can't believe I was involved with that, or that was an amazing thing to be a part of?
Do you know, there is one that stands out, and it's probably not one that I talk about anywhere near enough, actually. And it's one when I was back at Biotecture. Funny enough, we actually sort of did this project with Highways England and Innovate UK, who were very kind enough to choose us as one of the companies to lead on some air quality research. And it was a whole initiative around cleaner air and reducing pollutants and everything else out of the atmosphere. And one of the ways that Highways England suggested to do this was to sort of put a bit of money aside and split it out into different companies. And we were one of those companies. And basically what that project meant was that we took the plant box system into a lab at UCL in London. And basically what we did is a science experiment where we put a sort of a diesel generator in there in a sort of a lab environment and basically sealed it off. And the levels of pollutants in there were obviously very, very high and dangerously high. And then what we did is we did an experiment with the plant boxes and the role of plants, and basically through a process called phytoremediation, basically the plants were able to take pollutants out of the lab environment and through the roots and absorb them and actually pass out cleaner air. So
wow,
it's an amazing project. It was a good couple of months that I was involved in that, and I look back on that going, do you know what, that was probably one of the most brilliant experiences to date. And I think I was working with Highways England. I was sort of managing the process and the procedures. I'm not from a science background either, but suddenly you find yourself very, very immersed in it, which was great. And it was just totally different to my day to day. And I think that was the big thing for me, because it's very much, you're not looking at you're not necessarily seeing clients, or you're doing anything else.
A completely new project,
completely new. It's I felt way out of my comfort zone, which I actually like that feeling, because you almost feel a little bit out of control, but in a good way.
And also learning,
and you're learning all the time. And I think that's been, going back to what I was saying earlier, the whole learning curve has been the best thing in my career to date, to be honest. And that sort of whole throw yourself in the deep end has been the way that I've sort of got where I have, I think.
Okay, so you talked a lot about living.
Yes.
What about artificial plants? Because surely it's just cheaper just to get a fake plant, right?
No, it's just not. It's really. How do I say this diplomatically?
You don't need to.
Don't need to. No, fair enough. No,
be honest.
No, I mean, I'm a big advocate for the removal of, or at least the education around sort of the damages around artificial plants and grass. There's a campaign, I think, from the Society of Garden Designers at the moment, which is sort of a whole thing around banning and reducing this whole amount of artificial grass and artificial plants. I just do not see a role for it in the industry that we're in. We always talk about, we talked about sustainability very briefly a minute ago, and I just think it just doesn't sit within that. And there's a lot of greenwashing that happens at the moment, where people unfortunately are sort of saying they're perhaps more green than possibly they are, or they're being. I don't claim to be one of those people, but I also recognise that we can do more. Whereas a lot of the artificial planting, I saw an eco range the other day, and I sort of, what's that about? And I think part of it was made from recycled plastic, and it's like, right, well, that's,
how can it be eco? Yeah,
it's so contradictory. So I'm a big advocate for that to be gone. There might be other people in the industry who disagree with me. And, and I've had conversations with people about that. But
people who disagree, why are they disagreeing? What's their plus point for artificial?
I don't know. I think it's thing.
Is it cost? Because
I don't know. I don't think cost comes into it. I think it's more around sort of this thing around maintenance, low maintenance. If you've got artificial turf is a great example of this. You basically vacuum your garden instead of, cutting the grass. And it's just to me, it just doesn't register. And I just never think to do that.
It's interesting what you say about maintenance as well,
Yeah.
because what you've told me about the plant boxes
Yeah.
is you do the initial setup, it maintains itself.
To a degree, yeah.
So
yeah, there's a bit of pruning here and there,
Yeah.
but I mean, it's the same if you had a potted plant around the office
Yeah.
or your home. It's just a natural thing, which is a brilliant thing, and I just think there's such a long way to go. I think for all of us in this industry, just to really have open and honest conversations about the the lack of sort of benefits, I suppose, around artificial and the many benefits of living real planting. And yeah, it just seems to be a bit of a. I think living walls, as a sort of a separate subcategory. I saw some locally actually that was sort of plastic ivy on a sort of a fake trellis, and it was sort of screwed to the wall, and it just did nothing visually, environmentally. From a maintenance perspective, it was sort of being hammered by the sun, so it was getting really UV damaged, which it's sort of a no-brainer. You weigh up the two options. You'd much rather be in a position where you're looking at a real living wall or a real plant. The benefits are endless. We talk about bringing nature closer as a business. That's all we're trying to do all the time. We just think there's a bigger conversation to be had.
So other than artificial, what would you say are other challenges you face in the industry?
I think the biggest challenges, one will be supply chain eventually. It's all about having a sort of robust and resilient supply chain. Other challenges is all about obviously external factors like cost of living. It really does impact businesses like us, especially when we're trying to sell a product that is
Premium.
A premium product, which is an enhancement, or something that should be integral to obviously everyone's homes, but it's not something that possibly everyone would agree with. I'm just trying to think of other challenges really. It's I think those are the.
Would you say education would be one? I mean, I know that's a difficult one because it's always changing, always evolving. But one of the things I'm thinking of is when I was younger, and even at school, the only things we did ever green fingered was go lob that in a compost heap.
Yeah.
Or I think it was one of those experiments you used to do in primary school where you plant some seeds, stick it under a cupboard, look at it in a week. Is that it? That was literally it. So there was no education. Only now, probably in the last 10 years, we're sort of a lot more conscious about sustainability. Every one of our clients are all about sustainability.
Yes.
Some of them are lip service. Some of them are amazing at some of the things that they do, even to the point where they got electric vehicles.
Yeah.
But that was not a thing when I was growing up. It was not at the back of your mind.
No, exactly. And funny enough, there is a lot of schools that we've worked with, and there's been schools that we've sort of helped to implement some plant box living walls into. There's several in sort of Dorset, in Devon, and in London as well, especially where air quality is such a big talking point. I think the whole ULEZ expansion was in the news recently, and it's something that is critical to public health, basically. And to have living walls on the side of schools is a fantastic initiative, and one we really want to support. But there's also a school down in sort of Somerset Devon way, which Dorset way, that we've been helping with, and they're very keen on sort of the technological aspect of it. Trying to bring living walls into classrooms to teach kids how to grow indoor plants, or how to grow seeds, and
is this initiative something that Growing started, or were you guys approached by the school? How does that come along?
I think it's a bit of collaboration. I would have to go back to remember who sort of approached who really on this, but I think as soon as that connection was made, it was something that was really talked about, and something we really wanted to get involved with. The school was really sort of engaging. There was a teacher there that was particularly interested in what we do, and it's been a great project and initiative to be involved with. It's just hoping to have that rolled out to other schools, which we're actually steadily seeing a lot of interest for. And we want to help. The whole thing around education is massive.
Yeah.
And yeah, by greening up schools in this country would be an amazing achievement for us.
I think what's amazing about your product is you do not need to have a garden
No.
to get any of your products.
No, exactly. And even the best example possibly is when we say you only need 60 centimeters worth of garden to have a vertical garden. So balconies and terraces and all that sort of stuff is perfect for plant boxes. So if you live in a sort of an apartment block or some flats, you want a garden, you want to grow stuff, you can. Because you're growing vertically, you're growing more in the space, and also you're packing more of a punch as well visually. So it sort of can transform a whole balcony or terrace somewhere.
Yeah, I think I saw an image. It was a balcony. There was literally just 2 chairs there, and the plant. It looked amazing. It just lit up that space. It looked so good, and obviously anyone who was below or above could see this and think, "Wow, you know what? I can do something with this space."
Yeah, I've got friends who talk to me all the time. They live in maybe a rented accommodation, for example, which is a massive thing right now. And we talk about not being able to screw things to the wall and how to get around that. And if you've got a balcony or something that you can simply cable tie a plant box to or something similar, then you can have a vertical living wall and a plant box that sort of doesn't need any real specialist maintenance or anything like that. You just water it as and when the indicators tell you when to, and it's just brilliant from that regard. But
so talk about plant boxes then. Is there anything new and exciting to look forward to?
There is, actually, funny enough, and we get very excited when we talk about this because one of the things that we've been working on for some time is our new Flourish range. And Flourish is all about bringing nature closer, bringing nature inside, and we get so many inquiries and projects that are all about sort of greening up office environments or indoor environments. People's homes is another prime example of that. And basically what and basically what's going to happen is Flourish is basically a surround for the plant boxes. So you've got the plant box living wall, and then you've got sort of a really nice biophilic surround, either in timber, steel, or there's different color options available as well, and in different sizes as well to fit your space. And we just think it's a product range that hasn't really been done yet, and there's a lot of interest so far for it. And we're all about sort of bringing plants into the offices. I've seen you've got a few dotted around here as well, and it just makes such a difference. We've got 3 different ranges: the Pico, the Mura, and also the Duet. And when we talk about the Duet, it's a double-sided living wall, which is on caster wheels. So you can sort of move it around the office, and you can use it as a divider to block out noise and acoustics, or to help with acoustics. So
but in a very natural way, in a beautiful way.
In a visually beautiful and also in a very natural way that's going to help people. And there's loads of studies as well. I won't sort of go into too much detail, but there's loads of studies done around sort of productivity, creativity, how plants improve spaces, and how there's a sort of a human innate sort of feeling to draw towards sort of green, more biophilic spaces. So and we feel like we've got the product range to help with that, and it's relatively available now, we're sort of excited by it.
That sounds very fun.
You
do them in orange as well.
We do them in a nice Deliver Social orange.
Brilliant.
And, it's
look forward to it.
It's got your name all over it, I think.
I think what I really like about the fact that it's on wheels, because I mean, I know what you're talking about, divider spaces, but for us, or when I'm talking to clients, I think, you know what, no matter if you're filming or you're doing photos or videos or headshots for your staff, you can move this wherever you need it to be. So I think it's so versatile.
It sure is, exactly. And that's one of the things we've been listening to our clients from. They've said to us that, have you got anything similar to this or anything? And we sort of said, no, not at the moment, but there's something in the pipeline. And there's been a lot of research and development over time to get to where we are now. And I'm really pleased and really excited to finally say that it is now available. Like I say, it comes in different colours, different sizes, everything else. It's going to be a really great product.
In terms of the cost,
yes,
what's the cost going to be like?
Cost is relatively
because I look at the plant boxes, I actually think they're quite cheap for what they do.
Yeah, cost is an interesting one. So we'd say for the plant boxes, for around about £270 a metre squared, you can get plant boxes, compost, and plants delivered to your door, which is really comparable with other either hard or soft landscaping elements. So, you know, if you're talking about fencing or you're talking about brick pavers or other planting. So, yeah, from a cost perspective, it's we talk about, you know, from a cost perspective, we always talk about plant boxes not costing the earth, and that's in more ways than one, obviously. I think we are at a price point where, yes, it's a premium product and everything else, but I think once people understand how it works, the functions of it, the benefits of it, the low maintenance element of it, and the fact it's all made in the UK from 100% recycled materials as well, really helps to sort of tell people why it is the price that it is.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, some people would say, oh, you know, well, I can get an alternative on Amazon for 10 quid or something like that. And then we do actually need to send a thank you letter to whoever makes those, because a lot of customers
Come back
to us and say, I've actually bought this thing online somewhere, and it's I don't know, maybe it's a pocket system or something like that, which I put it in this position, and the winds sort of really dried it out, and I've lost a lot of plants over it and everything else. And they end up coming to us and say, well, actually, because you've got the reservoir and because you've got the plant boxes that have the indicator on there as well, it really, you know, it would really help me out. So in the end, they have to reorder. So it's yeah, that's another thing that's happened, which again just sort of leads me down the route of why plant box is the right choice.
I think what I loved about, because I had a look at your feedback, and it was people who were purchasing for the first time.
Yeah.
You then see, they go, you know what, I only needed one, but now I've come back to you guys 3 or 4 times. They repeat because they believe in the product.
They do, yeah, and it's great, and it's not just a one-off either. You know, it's someone said the other day, what did they say? They said, oh, I'm just adding it to my collection type thing. And I love that idea. I love that whole sort of phrase and terminology that, you know, you've got this sort of, you've got this plant box living wall already installed, and because it's interlockable and, you know, interconnectable and everything else, and all clipped together, and it's all the same sort of size, it's very easy to add. Yeah, exactly. And sort of to add to your collection is a really nice way of framing your amazing living wall, I think.
I think I saw another review or some bit of feedback. Somebody moved house and then just picked up and took it. Like, it wasn't hard.
No, it's a couple of screws out of the wall. That's all it is. And yeah, pick it up and move it. And it's exactly the same as any other bit of furniture, really. You know, you just sort of up and move it. And you know what? Even if you have moved house and you go, oh well, the place or the space that I didn't, you know, expect to see it, I've you know, or the place that I thought I was going to install it wasn't going to be quite right, so therefore I'm going to put it in another space, because it's got different because it's so adaptable and versatile. It's been a great it's been a great thing for that.
I feel like when you guys developed new products, you don't just, here's a new product, off you go. You guys put a lot of thought. There's a lot of science to it.
There is
a lot of development. So when you guys do develop new products, so let's say Flourish, for example, how long does that take to actually get from research development to then customers?
We're talking a couple of years, I think. At least. And like you say, we always take feedback on board. That's the number one thing. And then we also have to sort of assess the viability, suitability of it. And you know, if it's a all go, and you know we're getting asked for this sort of stuff, then we always try and deliver on it. And it's the whole Flourish range is a great example of that, because you know it's been years in the making now, and we're finally at a place now where we go, we're really proud of it, and it's a product that we've done testing and prototypes with and everything else, and that all takes time.
Yeah.
And you know, occasionally we do get customers saying, oh, you know, you talked about this Flourish range a little while ago, any news on it? And I have to keep saying, well, the prototype needs a bit of a tweak, or I don't know, there's a slight change that needs to be made before we can launch it, type thing. They go, oh, okay, yeah, fair enough. And then now I'm at a place now where we go,
here it is,
great. And everyone that I've spoken to about it has sort of said, what a great looking product it is. You know, what an amazing looking thing. It's something that hasn't necessarily been done really before very well, we feel like it's the right product for the right space.
Amazing. So, in terms of anyone who's up and coming and has the same interests as you did, what would be your recommendations into getting into the industry?
Yeah, recommendations and advice. I think the whole passion and enthusiasm thing is worth talking about, because I think if you're interested in something, I think you should really. I think that I think especially in this country, you sort of you sort of do well in a subject perhaps, and then you sort of follow it through, and then you sort of do it at maybe college, and then you go to university and do it, and then you go into the world of work, and then you say, oh, actually, I don't want to do that. Like for example, I've got friends who have done science degrees and everything else and end up in, I don't know, in marketing or something. I don't know. So I just think if you follow your passion and you follow your enthusiasm and interests, I think you're going to get a lot more success. I think if you're passionate about something, it also means that other people will end up getting passionate about it as well, and you start to sort of build a bit of confidence about where you want to be. So I would say, if you've got an interest in growing, in plants, in horticulture, in science, in bringing nature closer, I think that is definitely a career option for people.
Is there any literature or websites or any books anyone should read?
Yeah, it's a good question. I'd say talk to people. I would say talk to people in the industry. I'd sort of, including us. I think there's been a couple of people that have come to us over the years, and sort of, we're quite. I've got links with the university at Chichester, and also the college as well. And there's been a couple of courses that I've been on where I've been sort of speaking to school age kids and going in to talk to them about what I do, and everyone goes, oh, that's very interesting. I wasn't expecting that, or and suddenly a lot of conversation then flows off as a result of it. So my advice would be to talk to people, including us.
Okay. Tell me a little bit about the HPHA. What made you become a member?
The YPHA.
YPHA, sorry.
Yes, YPHA. Yeah, the Young People's Horticultural Association. It's a fantastic initiative, and it's basically for under 35s working in the horticultural industry, which is interesting. So I basically applied, and you go through a bit of a process, and I think you get assessed or something.
What do you get assessed on?
Where you work, I suppose,
Okay.
and what your role is, and that sort of thing, and maybe what you would bring to the group. And once you're sort of in the YPHA, you then would get invited to a WhatsApp group, and also there's loads and loads of events that are put on by other members, which are absolutely fantastic. And they're often industry, obviously related events, so places like RHS Wisley, and you're in this group, this cohort of people that are all sort of a similar age to you, and they also have that same passion, that same enthusiasm, and they all want to be doing the right thing. And funny enough, there's other growers in there from nurseries, and there's other landscape contractors in there, and there's other garden designers, and there's like myself in there as well, and you end up having these conversations, and you meet up, and it's just fantastic, because you see lots of different perspectives, and you see different angles and ways of looking at things. Funny enough, we were actually at the Chelsea Flower Show this year, and on the board there was a whole board of YPHA members, and funny, I was up there as well, and I got talking to other members as well, and it's just amazing to hear what they have to say. And some of them were involved in some of the show gardens at RHS Chelsea, which in its own is an amazing accolade for them. It's, I think, there's a lot of young people in this country who are interested in nature and in growing and in horticulture and all of these things, and I just think what a great place for us to all talk about this sort of thing. So very, very proud to be a member of the YPHA, and
Is there any products which you have at home which you're proud of, or is there anything that you have at home and you've done it in a specific way because that's the way you want it? Is there particular plants that you have, particular products which you have to have?
As you can imagine, there's quite a lot of plants in my own home, from different places. Sometimes we go to a show or something, and there's a couple of spare plants that don't quite make it back to the office, and that would be quite nice on a shelf. Yeah, I'm a big fan of sort of bird of paradises. I think they're as a feature plant in a space, there's not sort of nothing that sort of comes close as a plant in a pot, other than a plant box living wall, of course. So yeah, it's and I've got a plant box living wall at home, which I use to do different trials and different things with, new varieties of plant that perhaps we haven't tried or recommended. So yeah, that'd be my number one thing.
For anyone who's looking at the plant boxes, thinking they look really cool, and they're still not quite sure, what would be your advice?
My advice would be to say, if you have got a wall that is bland or uninspiring, or you think that needs really brightening up, and you're thinking about having a plant box living wall, then absolutely go for it. And the reason why I'd say absolutely go for it is because it makes such a difference, and it's such a transformative change to that space that you just don't get by looking at it online or even somewhere in situ. For example, there's loads of places in London and surrounding areas, all over the country and abroad, where plant boxes are installed, and people go up and say, that looks amazing, I'd love it in my house. And they get home, they go, oh, I'm not sure. And then they actually, the people do go home and end up sort of saying, I'm going to get one of our plant box living walls in there. That what a change it's made, and then they say, I'm going to add to my collection, I'm going to buy 10 more or 20 more or however many. And so yeah, that would be
I think the one I really loved was the train station, because train stations are not glamorous places. They don't tend to look nice.
Yeah.
The one that I don't know which train station was it.
Well, there's a couple.
It looks stunning, the one I saw, because it just lifted it. Because when you think of a train station, I remember I was at a Portsmouth City Council meeting lately, and they were talking about when you land in the train station, it's about showing off where you are.
Yeah.
How many train stations can you say you land and you go, yeah, that's nice? It never is.
No.
When I saw this installation from you guys, it looked incredible. Like if you're getting off at a platform and you just see this it's stunning.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the way we work is that, we're the product supplier, and we do all the innovation and research and development, and then we sort of package it all up and everything else. We would then work with landscapers and other individuals as well from an installation perspective, who would go out and do sort of some of these commercial projects. So on the train station one is a really good one. There's a tube station. I think is it Hackney? It might have been Hackney tube station. I think as you come off the tube, you're literally hit with a load of green walls. There's also a couple that are sister company and my old company Biotecture also installed. One, funnily enough, is around the corner from here in Portsmouth.
Oh, really?
Yeah, by the as you get out of Portsmouth and Portsmouth Harbour, I think it is.
Okay, I'll have to have a hunt down there.
Have that, yeah, definitely have a look at those. So there's one there. There's also one at Dorchester, I think. There's also a couple at Southampton Central as well, which we won't talk about in this office. And yeah, so they're dotted around the country, so which are amazing. And there's people like Transport for London, TfL, who are big advocates for greening their network, and for good reason. The changes are immediate.
I feel like it just gives it an immediate lift.
It does, yeah, and it's a really simple lift as well. It's not a, you don't have to dig anything out or it's not major construction work, is what I'm saying, to install one of these. And that's another reason why I'm so proud of it. It can be easily retrofitted to buildings, and train stations, other transport hubs are perfect. I could just imagine them on every platform, just being amazing.
Stunning, wouldn't it? Yeah, and it really give a lift. I think even for tourism, new people to the country, new people to certain cities. Look, getting off at Portsmouth Harbour, it's Gunwharf Quays is the big thing, but you get off at Portsmouth Harbour, it's not
glamorous.
It's not nice, is it? Yeah. So to have something that lifts you, going, oh wow, I went to Portsmouth and straight away I had this and Spinnaker Tower.
Yeah.
Then it's everything there, and it definitely gives it a lift anywhere you go. Is there any industries or any places you think that you're not at the moment, but you think would be amazing?
In terms of industries, where we want to be.
Because I was at an airport recently, and I saw like a fake. It wasn't a fake wall, but it was similar, and it made me think of you guys, because it looked cool.
Yeah.
But it didn't look as good as what you guys do.
No. Okay.
And I thought a wall, like, it looked really good, like terminal, whatever.
Yeah.
You go.
Yeah.
And fly green or whatever. I know you can't fly green,
no,
but eventually one day maybe.
Maybe one day, yeah. That's a really, yeah. I mean, transport hubs. We touched on it just now. Transport hubs are a massive one. We did a couple of projects back in the biotech days when so we greened up Terminal 5. At Heathrow. Sorry, is it Terminal 5? Yeah. There's a couple of examples where we greened up Heathrow Airport, which was amazing. Basically, I think if we could roll that out, that'd be even better. You know, you look at sort of somewhere like Gatwick or Heathrow, or you know, the first thing someone sees as they as they walk through the door type thing, it's they need to be inspired and need to be, you know, this massive wall of green. I think would really help. I think obviously as well as sort of going down the scientific route, you know, working with more sort of people like colleges and universities, I think would be a good thing for us to get involved with. And I know there's already a couple of contacts and a couple of things that we're doing, you know, with certain you know, educational bodies across the UK, and I just think we can really enhance that, which is going to be great. So there's always somewhere, you know, we sell plant boxes obviously via our website as well, directly to sort of the end consumer, the end sort of the end person, and then we also sell to retailers, landscapers, you know, architects would then specify them into drawings. So there's all these sort of different routes already that we're sort of going down and exploring, but there's always more.
Yeah.
We'll see. But transport hubs are a massive one, I think.
So 2023 is now almost at the end.
Yeah.
What's the aim for 2024 for Growing Revolution?
2024 is a pivotal year, basically, because we've got all these new exciting product ranges happening, which are going to be amazing, and it's going to be something that we've been really sort of being asked for this year particularly, and it's just not been the right time up until now to do that. So we've got new product launches, got a new website happening, and yeah, we're sort of going to sort of keep building and growing the business as we have done for the last couple of years. So yeah, it's going to be a big year for us.
No, amazing. One final one. Artificial plants. Why not?
Why not? Or why?
Yeah, why not?
Why not? Artificial plants. Sort of what we were saying earlier. I just think I can't stand the way that they look, and there's just no benefit to them. I don't see a point in an artificial plant or an artificial wall or even artificial turf. I just don't see the point or the appeal.
So go real.
Go real
all the time.
Go all the time. Exactly.
Yeah. So you live in West Sussex?
I do. Yes. Part of. So I live actually not too far from here. I'm sort of on the Hampshire-Sussex border, near Emsworth, which is a lovely place to live. I'm very lucky. The offices for Growing Revolution are in Chichester, which again is a lovely place to be based. And a lot of our projects are sort of dotted around the country, so you end up seeing a lot of the UK, which again is a great thing to do. So yeah, we're very lucky, and funny enough, we're actually working with the manufacturer on some of our other sort of smaller components for the plant boxes, who's next door. So we got a warehouse in Chichester, and next door to us is where the bulk of materials actually come from. So, you know, from a footprint perspective, it's great. You know, we're saving on transport all the time. You know, saving on packaging, and we dispatch from our warehouse. So it's an amazing coincidence, I suppose. It's not something that we've planned. It's just there was another business that did that sort of thing next to us, and we decided to go for it and approach him, and he was very keen to work with us equally, and we were, and the rest is history, really.
Chichester is obviously a beautiful, picturesque town.
Yeah.
How much does that influence you in terms of when you're just out and about? Does that give you ideas? Does that give you inspiration for products and services, or any places you can put plant boxes?
I think so. Yeah, I think so, because we're so lucky to be where we are. We're, we're surrounded by obviously the South Downs, which are beautiful, as well as the coast. You know, we got the sort of the Solent and everything else, and we've got the sort of the Witterings and everything else by us. So it's an amazing place to be based, and I personally feel inspired. I've had friends that have moved to London and other big cities and couldn't live down here. You know, people that were really drawn to the whole city life and the buzz of the city and everything else, which is great. for me, I'm sort of just not that interested in it. I'm sort of I like visiting, of course, and sort of I'm always up there, sort of seeing clients and speaking with clients and doing different demonstrations and everything else, which is great. But I always love it when I'm sort of getting close to home on the train or something, and I'm going, oh, this is me.
What's your favourite thing about Chichester?
Favourite
Because
thing?
obviously you went to university there as well.
I did,
so.
yeah. So I know it very well. And yeah, my favourite thing about Chichester. Oh, I think it's sort of like I think it's the variety of what's there. You know, you think of Chichester being this very sort of old Roman city, which is sort of not really much happening, but there is, and there's lots of people that are especially very yeah, there are lots of people in Chichester that are very sort of passionate about the environment. And there's lots of groups as well that we would be speaking to about what we do, and there's lots of people that work in similar sort of fields. We're very lucky to have a lot of growers near us. It's one of the sunniest spots in the UK. In fact, actually, I think Bognor Regis has got that top spot at the moment as the sunniest place in the UK, which is why there's a lot of greenhouses, a lot of growers, and a lot of things happening under glass. And we do a lot of exporting from here, which you necessarily don't realise, which has been very good. And so we're very well connected horticulturally, which is great. So and a lot of our partners we work with both on a retail and on a landscaping perspective are based locally to us as well. So there's a lot of local connections. So it's a great place to be based.
Cool. Why should anyone buy a plant box?
Good question. I think you should probably ask why not actually. But the reasons why, I mean, it's such a simple and effective living wall system. It's like nothing else on the market. It's stackable and modular. There's a built-in reservoir which allows plants to thrive for longer. It's all made in the UK from 100% recycled materials as well, which is fantastic. And it's so adaptable and versatile, and you sort of can grow anything you sort of want in there to some degree, obviously depending on aspect. But there's no sort of rules, and it's so simple to install and simple to assemble that it's why would you not have it? And I just think that what a way to transform an environment by putting a wall of green on the side of your building or side of your garage or the side of your fence or balcony or wherever you are. There's no better way to do that.
If anyone's not sure, how can they get in contact with you or the team at Growing?
So the best way to do that would be either to pick up the phone and call us directly, which is our numbers 01243957109. It's also on our website, and also if you do a Google search, we come up. Also, if you wanted to email us, it's hello@growingrevolution.com. So get in touch. One of our friendly team will be in touch with you, and we can talk you through anything you're unsure about, anything at all relating to assembly, instruction, purchasing the plant box, anything about the benefits, how to plant it up, even anything. Just give us a call, and we'd be delighted to help.
Okay. Anyone who's looking at the new Flourish range, what would you say if someone's not sure between getting a plant box for their offices or the Flourish range? What would be the
Well, the difference between the two is that Flourish basically has some really nice biophilic surrounds to go with it. You can either get sort of a biophilic timber surround, or you can get a really sleek sort of curved steel surround. And you've got your Pico, which is your small sort of wall-mounted version. You've got your Miura, which is sort of your sort of ground-bearing and sort of just restrained back to the wall sort of version. And you've also got the Duet range as well, which is sort of the one on wheels. It's the office divider if you want to use it for that, and it's sort of double-sided plant boxes in this really nice steel surround. We had one up at the Shard not too long ago, and
wow.
it looked incredible, and it made a big difference as well. So that'd be the big difference between the two products, because one is sort of integrated in with the other. And if you want one for the office, then again, contact us in the same usual way, sort of hello@growingrevolution.com. And or pick up the phone, and one of us will get in touch and explain the differences to you if you want to sort of go down that route, or we can talk to you about the benefits of the product and how it might be suitable for you in your office or your home or any
balcony or
yeah, exactly,
garage or toilet or whatever. They fit anywhere.
Fit anywhere, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, we're really pleased with it. It's been a long time coming, and we're finally ready to go with it, and yeah, we can't wait to get it out there.
Amazing. Good luck with the launch, and thank you very much for coming in.
Cheers. Thank you very much.